Imagine a chilling tale that begins with a 13-year-old girl's haunting nightmares. Visions so vivid and terrifying they unravel a crime that shocked the world. In 1999, a young orphan named Ah Fong stepped into a Hong Kong police station, guided by a social worker, to report something unimaginable. She spoke of recurring dreams, a headless woman with a sycamore tree tattoo, relentlessly demanding her lost head. What started as a strange story from a troubled child soon spiraled into one of the most gruesome murder cases in Hong Kong's history, the infamous Hello Kitty case. This story unfolds in Kowloon, the bustling heart of Hong Kong, a peninsula surrounded by the sea on three sides, alongside Hong Kong Island and the New Territories. These three regions form the vibrant core of the city. Places like Tsim Sha Tsui, Yau Ma Tei, and Mong Kok and Kowloon are famous for their lively streets, drawing tourists with endless shopping, dining, entertainment, and cultural experiences. But beneath the glittering urban facade, in a cramped apartment on a busy Kowloon street, a horrifying crime once took place. It was Monday, May 24th, 1999, as Hong Kong sweltered under late spring heat and sudden rain showers. At the Kowloon police station, two women arrived. A social worker from the women's shelter near Kowloon Wharf, and a 13-year-old girl named Ah Fong. The shelter, managed by the Social Welfare Department, offered temporary housing and support for girls in need or undocumented immigrants awaiting processing. The social worker explained that Ah Fong had been showing disturbing signs, waking up screaming from nightmares, muttering about a headless woman demanding her head back. At first, they thought it was just trauma-induced dreams, but the consistency of the visions raised red flags. After counseling sessions, a shocking truth emerged. Ah Fong, just 13, had a 19-year-old boyfriend named Leung Weilan, a street thug. 2 months earlier, in March 1999, he'd taken her from the shelter to live with him in an old, run-down apartment. There, she met two other men, his friends, and a disheveled woman with unkempt hair and tattered clothes. Leung Weilan told her the woman had been kidnapped by the three of them. Ah Fong didn't know who she was and was too scared to ask. Over time, she witnessed the trio brutally torture the woman, beating her, pouring chili oil into her wounds, and forcing her to eat her own waste. Too terrified to resist, Ah Fong was coerced into joining the abuse. After a month of relentless torment, the woman died. To cover up their crime, the men dismembered her body, cooked the parts, and even forced Ah Fong to serve the flesh in noodle bowls as a delicacy. The trauma shattered Ah Fong's mind. She became withdrawn, plagued by visions of the headless woman. Eventually, Leung Weilan grew tired of her and kicked her out. With nowhere else to go, she returned to the shelter. Her nightmares and deteriorating health alarmed the staff, and after uncovering her story, the social worker rushed her to the police. The police took Ah Fong's statement, though her fragile state forced them to pause initially. 2 days later, she returned, steadier, and revealed more. The victim was man-yee, a 23-year-old nightclub hostess. Her abusers were Leung Weilan, 19, Chan Manlok, 33, and Leung Xing-cho, 26. Ah Fong described how, after savagely killing man-yee, they dismembered her. Trembling, she gave an address, 31 Granville Road, Tsim Sha Tsui. Police stormed the 5-story building, an aging structure with a basement and 4 floors. Ah Fong said the crime happened in a 3rd-floor apartment, where she'd once lived with Leung Weilan across the hall. Too traumatized to go up, she stayed downstairs as officers ascended the dark, unlit staircase. They knocked on the apartment door, no answer. Breaking in, they were hit by a stench of decay. Inside, among 6 bedrooms, a giant Hello Kitty mermaid doll stood out, stained with blood and reeking. A seasoned officer prodded it with a metal rod and felt something hard. Backup arrived, and they carefully cut it open. Beneath layers of mothballs, they found a human skull, cooked, rotting, with a missing lower jaw, scattered teeth, and clumps of hair. Further searches uncovered more horrors: teeth, a hammer, 2 stoves with mothballs, a small fridge with scratch marks from storing flesh. and a nylon bag of cooked organs in the ground floor machine room. The stove had been used to boil the head and entrails. With the skin and hair destroyed, DNA testing was impossible, but dental experts matched 2 teeth from the skull to a photo of Fan Man-yee smiling, confirming her identity. Fan Man-yee's life was a tragedy. Born in 1975, she was abandoned by her debt-ridden father at 5. Her mother remarried but refused to raise her, so she grew up in an orphanage. At 15, she aged out, forced to fend for herself. Unskilled, she took odd jobs, waitressing, delivering papers, but her clumsiness got her fired often. She rented cheap rooms when she could, otherwise sleeping in filthy slums. In her teens, she fell in with a rough crowd, racing motorbikes through Hong Kong streets. Seeking escape, she turned to drugs, sinking deeper into despair. By 1996, at 21, she worked as a hostess in a nightclub, a safer gig with better pay. There, she met Chi Yuan, a pimp nicknamed Ahoy, and they began dating. She quit her job, dreaming of a happy life with him. But his mother despised her, calling her a loose woman with a shady past, blocking their marriage. 2 years later, Fan Man-yee gave birth to a son and moved in with Ng's mother in Layumun, new territories. Ng grew violent, possibly influenced by his mother's disdain, beating Fan Man-yee over imagined betrayals. Desperate to escape with her child, she returned to hostessing, saving money in secret. Years earlier, she'd borrowed money from Chan Man-lok, a loan shark and nightclub cashier tied to the triads. Unable to repay, she was kidnapped by Chan, Liang Weilun, and Liang Xingqiu. Her nightmare began at 31 Granville Road, where they held her for over a month, torturing her daily, beating her hands with iron bars, burning her feet with melted plastic, forcing her to eat waste. They gave her drugs, and she became addicted, clawing at her wounds. One day, after she stole their drugs, they beat her unconscious. Later, finding her unresponsive in the bathroom, Chan struck her chest with a pipe. She convulsed briefly, then stopped moving. Ah Fong, checking the next day, found her dead. The trio left her body for days until the smell forced action. They dismembered her, cooked the parts, and stuffed her head into the Hello Kitty doll, discarding the rest in trash bins across the city. Weeks earlier, neighbors had reported a foul odor, but police found nothing suspicious then. A year and a half later, the case went to Hong Kong's High Court. Chan Man-lok, Liang Xingqiu, and Liang Weilun faced charges of murder, kidnapping, and obstructing burial. They admitted to kidnapping and mutilation, but denied murder, claiming Fan Man-yee overdosed. Ah Fong testified she didn't see the death, but confirmed the abuse. Prosecutors pointed to blood from her ear as evidence of fatal beating. After 2 months, a jury, by a 6-1 vote, convicted them of manslaughter, not murder. All 3 got life sentences without parole for 20 years, the maximum for manslaughter. Chan and Liang Weilun's appeals failed, but Liang Xingqiu, who'd surrendered and shown remorse, had his sentence reduced to 18 years in 2004. Released in 2014, he reoffended in 2021, molesting a friend's daughter, earning another 12-month term. The building at 31 Granville Road was later demolished, replaced by a new structure, and the case faded for public memory. From a criminal psychology perspective, this case reveals a chilling blend of sadism and group dynamics. Chan Man-lok, the mastermind, exhibited classic psychopathic traits, lacking empathy, exploiting Fan Man-yee for profit and pleasure. Liang Weilun and Liang Xingqiu, younger and impressionable, fell into a follower role, their violence escalating through peer reinforcement. Ah Fong's coerced participation highlights how fear can override morality in abusive environments. The trio's casual disposal of the body suggests a complete dehumanization of their victim, a hallmark of extreme offenders. This wasn't just a crime, it was a descent into depravity, fueled by power, rage, and indifference. That's the end of this haunting story. See you in the next one. Goodbye.